So good night, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're gonna have a special guest, and actually good evening for the people who are going to watch us directly from the United States also. This guest, okay, is a person that I follow for like a lot of years. Okay, I'm not sure if it's like 5 or 6 years, but since the beginning, I always like saw him like in microsoldering and things related to that. And so I just want to speak and know more about how is the business in the United States. So with you guys, Loren.
Hey, my name is Loren Nunley. I from Mississippi. I've been microsoldering since 2009, 2010, back when the 3GS and 3G first come out, doing backlight repairs on those.
3GS was your first one?
Yep, iPhone 3G was the first one I worked on.
Oh, you are appearing like half your head in the screen. If you can go like just a little, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so which year did you start?
It was 2009, 2010 area. I just started buying them up broke and kind of teaching myself how to solder. And as I needed it, I bought it. And now I got a whole shop full of soldering equipment and I teach it. So.
Okay, and how did you get started in microsoldering? Like, did you learn it by yourself? Like,
Yep.
did you go into like some course, some training?
Nope, I taught myself every bit of it.
Oh, but where did you get the information? Where like the internet, Google?
No, we didn't have it back then. There wasn't enough people doing it. It was trial and error.
But I'm curious. I'm curious. Like, which year did you start in microsoldering? Not technically speaking in mobile phones in general, but in microsoldering. Like, which year did you start?
About 2010.
2010.
Yes.
Like, what kind of repair like was back in 2010? I couldn't imagine like microsoldering in 2010. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Back then it was, you'd buy up, somebody would come in needing, a power switch would go bad on a Samsung, that's back in the very beginning of smartphones. Somebody'd come in, a power switch would be broke. We'd change power switch, or somebody would try to change their own port and they'd rake components off one. You'd find one like it. You'd buy the board and just transferring parts over.
Okay. And when was the time that with your knowledge that you get from experience, I would say, like when was the time that this is the time for me like to start teaching people?
Honestly, about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with RA, which is a debilitating disease of the hands.
Okay. And just one thing, because we have like some people from Brazil that like 5% of our population understand English. So if you can speak a little bit more slow, like it would be great.
Okay. Back about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with RA, which is rheumatoid arthritis, and it greatly affects your hands. So I figured I knew a time was going to come to where my hands weren't going to work as well. So I was not going to be able to do as much of the soldering work. So I started looking for ways to spread the knowledge and teach people how to do it. Wow. So I put 6 or 7 full work setups here. I teach up to 6 people at a time. I still enjoy doing it. It's harder for me to do it now, but it's fun, and I learn something new every day.
Yeah. And what can I ask more? Like, what kind of like techniques that you like give like to students? Microsoldering basic skills. Like, do you go like to like CPU repair or things like that?
Yeah, I show them how to. When you start teaching somebody from the beginning, it's really hard to fix this camera. It's really hard to teach somebody super advanced techniques. So I start them at the fundamentals, kind of how to get heat to work with them and not against them. I've had several people that have taken other courses and they're like, I just can't learn. So I would bring them back to the beginning and show them how to get heat to work for them. And usually within a half a day, they're learning much quicker because they know how to recognize how things act when they get hot, what damage they can cause beyond it, how to hold their components.
That's true. And after that, after like you teaching yourself by yourself, like I really am like, how can I
Yeah.
say?
Tell you something funny.
I didn't expect that, to be honest. You
No.
know, I expected you like do some training in like some
No.
place, maybe China or maybe like a colleague in United States. I heard a lot about Jessa. Do you know Jessa?
Me and her are really good friends.
Okay.
Me
Oh,
and her,
nice.
yeah, me and her were both of us around the beginning. Back
Whoa.
she
Whoa.
she got her start with an iPhone 4 that her kid put in a toilet, and I got mine, buying stuff that was broke, teaching myself how to fix it, and then I'd resell it and buy something
Okay.
else broke.
So like I guess like you start like in 2010, maybe you started like before Jessa. Am I right?
Yeah, that's something me and her never really hashed out. We never really worried about who started first, or
Yeah,
we
no, no,
just
no.
yeah,
That's not a
yeah,
competition, you know,
yeah,
just out of curiosity.
yeah. It was a little bit before she did. You know,
Okay.
she taught herself in the beginning. I taught
Wow.
myself in the beginning.
She
I think
didn't do a course. She didn't do a course also.
no,
Wow.
she did it. She got it looked up on Google and found some pictures, and she fixed her iPhone 4 and got it working and got the data off of it. And she's figured then, hey, this is something I can do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, since the beginning, like these are the people that I was watching in YouTube and like trying to understand. You know, I know and understand in English, but like technically speaking, I was like, oh my god, how these guys like start? Like, where do you begin? What's like the first step like to do? You know, and
Yeah,
in YouTube actually, you can show your repair, but you cannot like explain everything like for
no,
someone, right? So
nope.
I was trying really hard to understand like from videos from YouTube, like mostly like United States people, like you, Louis Rosman. Also, I don't know if you know Louis, but
I know him too.
like I have a really hard time, and then I need to do like a course, to be honest. And after this course, that's why I get together the knowledge and started to understand like things.
Yeah,
But like today, like I still not do like CPU repairs. I think like for Brazilian and like the how can I say the marketplace down here, I don't think it's how can I say a profitable business. To be
now
honest.
and when I got started doing the CPU swaps, pulling off CPUs and getting good at reballing them, that's when I found out that had RA. And so my hands were getting where I couldn't hold on to tweezers. I was dropping my tweezers. I was having really trouble, my hands shaking. So I really couldn't get into the CPU. I did a couple of them successfully. I actually did a CPU swap on an iPhone 6 Plus when they first came out.
Whoa.
I bought one back before we really knew, back in the Area 53 days, when you change a home button, you restore it and you get an Area 53. I bought just to kind of experiment with it. I bought one that had a short in the CPU. I bought a brand new CPU, put it on it, reballed it, put it on it, and then it actually started up in recovery mode, but it gave me an Area 53. And back then, Area 53, you couldn't recover from it, so it ended up being a parts device.
Yeah. What error? I didn't get. Sorry. What kind of error did you get?
iPhone 6 Plus back in about 2005.
No, which error did you get that you could
Area
not?
53.
53. Okay.
Yeah, that was back when 2005, 2006, when we would get Area 53 whenever you would change a home button.
Okay.
And then, 6 months later, Apple did a update to their software, so you would quit getting the Area 53. But by then, I had already tossed the device and parted it out.
Wow. And today, what kind of like repairs do you do mostly?
I mean, TriStar.
Like your internet like froze a bit. Like if you can repeat, like I'm sorry. Like
That's fine. We do a lot of codec, audio codec on the 7 Plus series.
how much like do you charge in the United States for like a iPhone 7 codec repair?
Somebody walking in the door, or just a walk-in customer, we do those for like $99.
How much? Pardon?
$99.
99. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's roughly what we do here in Brazil. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, roughly $99, $100.
Yeah, it don't take but about 20 minutes to do it, so it's not a major repair anymore.
Yeah. That's true. And how about students? Do you still like teach?
Yeah, I've got somebody coming in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I don't push it a whole lot right now because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I do it one-on-one.
Oh,
And
101,
yeah,
101.
during this
Okay.
pandemic, I just been doing it one-on-one. So
Okay. Also, out of curiosity, like how much is your training like for the United States people? Just to know, like in compare like to the Brazilian ones.
I charge $2,000 for 5 days,
$2,000.
and
Okay, that's fine.
that includes mentoring from me after,
Oh, after like for how long? Like it's like forever or
as long as they need it.
okay.
I have a hidden Facebook private Facebook group that's
Okay.
only for my students.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. That
Yeah.
sounds like you're very supportive and like you can help them like when they are in trouble.
I always tell them I can help you and we can help each other.
Yeah.
So,
That's
we get 50, 60 students in there. Somebody has a question, and some of my students have been rock stars. I mean, they've went back to Australia and other countries and have killed it.
whoa. And one thing that like I was like looking like I follow you for a long time.
Yeah.
You know the time that I didn't understand like quite nothing. You know like
Yeah.
I was like a zero guy,
Yeah.
zero knowledge. And I remember that like you didn't have like the store that you have now. I think like you just like bought a franchisee. Is that right? You have
Yeah.
like your own store and then you kind of upgrade to a franchisee. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I started my store actually out of my home in 2010. I was soldering out of my home, out of a home office then.
Oh, home office, home office.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that like here in Brazil, I do the same. I work like in home office, but some people, unfortunately, down here in Brazil have like some kind of how can I say a prejudice against people who work from home.
Yeah. I did that for about 3 years, and then
Okay.
I outgrew the home office.
Whoa. Okay. And after that, then you bought a franchisee.
Well, now after that, I started my own store
Oh,
and
your own.
and grew it. It's I mean around here it's pretty popular, and we were getting mail-ins from all over the world. People knew the name of it was the Cell Phone Doctor, and
Okay.
people knew it all over the world. So, but when I found out about my RA, I kind of had to change my plans. So I knew that I was going to have to take a step back at some point in the future. So we joined the CPR franchise and going to add more locations so we can focus more on retail. And then I can teach people one-on-one how to microsolder. And we just opened up a second store 2 weeks ago.
Whoa. And how many students like have you got in all this time? Like 100, I guess, like 1,000.
It's probably a little over 100.
Over 100. Oh, that sounds awesome. Sounds awesome.
And that's been in the past 3.5 years when I first started teaching.
Yeah. In Brazil, like we have like another kind of marketplace in culture, like courses here, like microsoldering trainings here are around like $500, I would say.
Yeah.
So around that,
And I get into showing them how to do schematics, how to use mapping software like ZXW and things like that. I teach them how to place orders, how to find the components that they need.
Sure.
So
that's also like extremely important, like
absolutely.
People think like that only like doing like the skill of microsoldering you are ready to go. No, like the business is like a lot of things, even though sales and marketing I think is like a way more important. In my how can I say, in my thought, I think that everything starts in a sale, so if you don't like sell to the customer like your service, like how good you are and how like professional you are, there's nothing like to do,
Yeah,
and
we don't get paid. We don't get paid to do this.
Pardon?
Because we get paid to microsolder.
Oh, I think you just froze like for 1 or 2 minutes. So
okay.
What did you do?
Yeah, so we don't get paid to do this. We don't get paid to twiddle our thumbs.
Yeah. Exactly.
We get paid to microsolder.
Exactly.
I try to teach my students how to market themselves, how to explain to customers, the dangers and what they need done. So I tell them, if people are scared to give a customer technical information. You know,
Yeah.
you have to explain to them, and I always tell them it's kind of like brain surgery.
You do. You do. And how about like your city is Memphis, right?
Corinth, it's about an hour east of Memphis.
Okay, what's your city name? Sorry, I didn't ask that.
Corinth,
Corinth.
Corinth.
Okay. And Tennessee, right?
Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. Okay.
Yep.
My mistake. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, like because like when I was looking at your Facebook, like I saw like something about Savannah and Tennessee.
That's my new store. I have a new store in Savannah, Tennessee.
Whoa! Like so, you have like more than one store.
Yes, we just opened a new one about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, congratulations! Congratulations. Okay. And how is the market in United States for microsoldering? Customers like prefer like to go walk in, like to mail in, like other kind of like service.
Yeah, I get more mail in than I do walk in because it's just a broader market.
Oh, mail in, mail in.
Yeah, we get more mail ins than we do walk ins on soldering.
And what's the secret like to get the trust of people?
Show your work.
Show your work. Okay.
Yep.
And in the United States, like which platform do you use most like to show your work?
Facebook.
Here in Brazil, like Instagram, like I think is the trendiest one.
Facebook groups. That's the quickest, easiest way to gain people following you, and they can see your work. If they can see the quality of your work and that you know what you're talking about, you're more likely to gain mail-in work.
Yeah. Nowadays, like if you show your work and show that you're really good, you know,
Yep.
you can have like the same level as the best store in your city, in your town.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yep. I'm really big in putting it back to where it looks like it's never been touched. I can do board work on one, and if you didn't know I did board work, you wouldn't see it.
Whoa.
I've done board work on some that end up not being able to fix it, and I've had customers that would send it back to Apple, and Apple would swap it.
Wow.
Apple was none the wiser that it was ever done board work to it.
Like, but my kind of thoughts about like United States and the culture like up there is that people actually, that's kind of like what I think in my head, you know. I can be like totally wrong, and sorry if I say like some bullshit, but what I'm thinking about, like, since the technology is like really cheap, like for Americans, like totally different here in Brazil, because like we pay tax like for imported products. Okay,
Yes.
so we pay the price of we pay the price of the product like plus taxes. It's kind of like shit, but that's how Brazil work, you know. But anyhow, like what I think, like in my thoughts, that the American like buy an equipment, whatever it will be, like an iPhone, whatever. If like it go bad, like I thought like they put in the garbage and like buy a new one. Am I wrong?
Well,
Or mostly they do that, but some share of the market try to repair.
Yeah, I've always tried to stretch mine out as far as I can and get the most out of it. But at the end of the day, if I need something going, and if it's going to take me longer to fix it, and if I got to put work to the side, I'll just order another one.
Yeah.
And I try to keep extras for all of it. So, you know, we're a little spoiled in the U.S. on that. I think I've got 9 quick units. So, I mean, if something goes bad, I can grab another one.
Yeah, that's true. And so you have like 2 stores today.
Yes.
What's the main service that your stores like do?
Just general maintenance, screens, batteries, charging ports.
Like,
you know,
if you could like share in percentage, like how much would be microsoldering like in your stores? Like I don't know, like 50% of the service are microsoldering or less than that.
It used to.
Oh, you froze.
Yeah.
Froze again. Sorry.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
It used to be around 50-50 or 60-40, but
Okay.
here in the last year or so, it's with the pandemic, it's slowed down a whole lot. It's probably down to about 20% soldering versus general maintenance and repairs. But that'll pick back up.
Okay. So today maybe it's like 30% of the business.
Probably about 20% right now.
Oh, 20%. Okay.
But year over year, we're up about 25% overall for the business. So we're
Yeah,
doing
no. Yeah. Overall, like this business is a really good business, I think, everywhere. But I'm just like out of curiosity thinking about like microsoldering.
At one time, I had myself and 2 full-time technicians doing all soldering work, but now I'm just doing it all by myself.
Yeah. Oh, you do everything by yourself?
All of the solder work.
The solder work?
Yeah, I've got 4 technicians, 3 technicians here and 1 at the new store, and then I do all the solder work. They do all the repair.
They actually like change batteries and screens.
Yeah, they do all that. I do all the solder work.
Okay.
They say an iPad needs a charging port.
It's a kind of like a line of production. You receive like the board, only the board, and you do the soldering while they like assemble and like bring to the customer.
Yep, they'll bring it. They'll pull out like an iPad board that needs a port or a TriStar. They'll bring me the board. I'll test it, see exactly what it needs, and then I'll go through the motions and check my voltages, start the port, work my way backwards, and then if I find out it does need a port, I'll change the port, hand it back to them. If it needs a port and a TriStar, I'll get that knocked out, hand it back to them.
Okay, we have like a good question from our friend like Canal DBJ. Okay, most of the repairs you make, do you use like the thermal camera or everything the knowledge and daily practice? What do you say?
I'm old school. I use my lips.
Serious?
When it's hot,
are you serious?
I touch it to my lips.
What do you think about thermal camera? Like it's a bullshit.
I've got one. It's got dust on it.
I sold mine actually. I paid like I don't remember if I paid like $800, but like I prefer to use like I don't know the name in English. Let me see.
Seek or FLIR?
No.
Probably might be a FLIR.
Let me see. Pitch dark. Make sense? Let me see.
Say that again.
No. Tar. No. Tar would make sense.
No.
Oh, sorry. Like the name of like this product, I don't know. But basically, you just like put in your iron on it. Okay, put your iron on it, and then like you kind of like with your iron on it, like you move your iron like over your board, and then it's kind of make a snow over the board. And after you turn on like in the power supply, like if you have a short, like somewhere will like it gets hotter. Basically, that's it.
And I'll hook up a power supply and I'll turn the power on. I'll start kind of low, and I'll slowly inch my way up, and I'll touch it to my lips, and I can get really sick. I can find a single cap shorter than getting hot with my lips.
Wow. Do you sell your lips? Do you sell your lips?
Yeah, they've been burned a few times.
Good one. Yeah, but I also agree with you, like that thermal camera, like
it's a good
tool. Like
a
really necessary equipment.
Yeah, you can get it done without it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Maybe for really small shots,
Yeah.
Maybe you would need also that.
Yeah.
So I guess now DBJ, I guess your answer like is done. Like if people have like more questions, like feel free to ask Loren.
Yep. Shoot away.
And your lab like looks really awesome. Like why do you have like so many microscopes if you are the only one like that do all of the soldering in your lab?
Students.
Pardon?
Students.
Oh, for students.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was at one time I was doing 6 at a time. So I've still got all the setups for 6 students, but right now I'm just doing it one-on-one.
Okay. But your full setup would be like 6 people.
Yes.
Okay. That's nice. And when you started like doing your course, like was since day one like full 6 students, or now I know that you are doing one-on-one, but back then was like 6 students like master class?
It just varies. a lot. It just kind of depends on time of year. Usually in the summertime, I would get more. In the wintertime, I'd get, it might be one student, it might be 5, it might be 6. It's just, you never know.
Okay. Okay. And which model do you get most?
Right now, it's probably still the 7 series and 8 series.
Seriously?
I get
7
some
series in
yeah.
United States?
Yep.
Oh, but I guess you can buy like a new one for like $200.
Well,
Right?
no.
How much is worth? How much is worth? Like, let's say, an iPhone 7 in your town.
$300.
Oh, $300. A good one or a new one?
A good one.
A good one.
Kind of refurbished.
Use it.
Used, yes.
Okay. I thought it would be around like $200.
Probably if somebody had a 32 gig, I think we sold a 32 gig 7 Plus today for $275.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
and people are still repairing in the United States the iPhone 7.
Oh yeah, it's one of our biggest repairs.
Well, I was totally wrong. I was thinking that like iPhone 7, like they try to sell like to developing countries like Brazil. We don't need this shit anymore. Let's send to people in developing countries. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about.
And the 8 is kind of gaining more momentum. We're seeing the 8 series, 8 and 8 Plus.
Oh, I was thinking about X. I was thinking that actually I'm thinking that in 2021, like I think the X will be like the trend. I'm thinking, just like
well, I think the X, it being their first layered board, it tends to be a piece of crap. We see a lot of them after a drop. You lose touch, you lose Wi-Fi. It doesn't take an update, and you separate the layers, and you've got pads pulled loose everywhere. So I think that area is real weak on the X. So I see the X fading out, and like the XR and the 11 XS, things like that, being more popular than the X because they're just crap. Well, they don't take drops very well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they did. Why do you think they make like a sandwich board to make like harder for technicians to work with?
Part of it is make it harder to repair, so they would sell more. But we're smarter than that. we'll always find a way to fix them.
Sorry, but fuck you, Apple.
That's it.
We are right behind you, Apple.
Yep. I always said, if you can make it, we can fix it.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I heard like that the 12, I didn't get any 12 like to repair, and even didn't touch like the 12. But I heard that 12 because when you like how can I say open like both of the boards, okay, you like the heat can cause like troubles in the CPU. That's what I heard. I didn't work with the 12.
I haven't had any of them come in yet. We try to push people the first year. We try to show some integrity and say, look, you've got a year warranty. If it's not water damaged or if it's not just destroyed and you're having problems, send it back. Use your warranty. So I tell them, I don't want to be the guy destroying your warranty. Some people they don't care. I like to have some integrity and show them you've got warranty. Use it.
Exactly. No. I think if the phone is under warranty, like that's a right for the customer like to use.
It's always the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. People who do things like under warranty, I think it's sorry to say that, but I think it's like scammers. They are scammers. They are trying like to rip off the customer.
Yeah, if they're wanting their data, if it's something they're like, I don't care about the warranty, I need my data, then I make sure they understand this is going to void your warranty, but I'll do what you want me to do.
Exactly.
And as long as they're fine with it, then I'll go ahead. But
and in cases like that, do you ask them like to sign any paper or something?
Yeah,
so you cannot have like trouble in the future, like, oh, you did something, I was under warranty, and even though you were like talking to the customer, like they came back like saying that you are a liar. Like I don't know, like do you do paperwork like for your safety? Oh, you're frozen again.
The internet's a little sluggish. We're in a snowstorm, so we do paperwork and we have some waivers, but I've literally never had anybody come back and be mad because we're so upfront. We try to educate them up front. So there's really nothing that, we make them understand.
Yeah. And with time and experience in the business, you kind of know the customer that is going to give you trouble. And then before he hires you, they hire you, you can fire them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no, sorry, I cannot help you. Maybe my knowledge cannot help you or something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can go to the next door, to the next store.
You learn to spot the trouble before it ever comes in the door. I tell them, if they're impatient and they're calling me every hour to check on it. This is going to be funny, but I always say I call it flushing the turd.
What? Flushing the turd?
I get that shit out of here.
Please come here. Take your phone and don't come anymore.
Come get it. If you ain't got patience, come get it.
Exactly. And maybe it's gonna be a hard question, but I'm really curious. How or what do you do to get updated? To update your knowledge?
I go buy them and tear them apart.
Oh, you buy a new one and tear apart?
Yep. And I start taking diode mode readings. I start making my own maps. I'll take each connector. I'll diode mode read it. I'll draw out a map. I'll take all my known good readings.
And do you have a software that you record all your readings, or is your kind of paper notebook?
I have a notebook.
A paper notebook?
Yep.
Just for that?
Just for that.
Oh, that's awesome. And so I guess you don't trust ZXW. You trust your own notebook.
I have it for quick use, but I always go to my own notes first.
Oh, wow. I never heard someone who works like that. Never heard. Really smart, really smart.
Well, I mean, if the internet's down or the computer crashes, I don't need my ZXW to get the job done.
Cool. Another question from DBJ. Is it worth to expanding all-day swapping on iPhone? I guess by swapping, he say swap CPU.
If the data is important, sure. I mean, if you don't undervalue yourself, don't do it for $200. If you're going to spend all day on something, charge for it.
Okay, how much a data recovery service?
Data recovery starts. It depends on the type of phone. If it's
let's say iPhone 7, that's a trendy one.
It looks data recovery starts at $300 and goes from there up to it can be $1,000.
Okay,
it just depends on the
model would be $1,000.
Yeah, if you get into the CPU swaps and things, you're gonna get up into something that's $700-800, and and sometimes you get something that takes you days to do, and as long as the customer is okay with, hey, once I start kind of getting an idea, hey, this is going to turn into a really long rabbit hole that's going to be a pain in the butt, I'll give the customer the option at that point to pull the plug. I'll go on and move something else, something I can make money on. But if you want to pay me, here's what it's going to cost.
Okay. And another question that I think would be it's kind of hard. And when it doesn't work out, when you try really hard, you do everything you can, and you cannot repair, how it works?
Send it back.
Does this happen to you? Does this happen to you
all the time?
All the time, right?
Yeah, that's just as commonplace as fixing it.
It's just because I heard back a time ago, okay, that a guy has 100% of success rate. It's impossible, right?
It's impossible. I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
There's no way you're gonna get 100% success rate.
No way.
You might get into the 90s.
You
spend a lot of time, but there's no way you're gonna be 100%.
Yeah.
If you're spending that much time on something to try to be at 100%, you have to know when to cut bait and go. If you want to make money microsoldering, you have to know when to cut it out and move on to the next one that will pay you money.
Okay.
Because you're not doing it for a charity.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, yeah. And when is the time like to, okay, I'm done. I cannot solve this one.
Well,
What's your answer about that? When is the time when Loren say, oh, okay, I'm done with this one. I did everything I can. Like, let's move to another one.
when I've logged 4 hours on it and I have got nowhere on it, it's gone.
4 hours.
Yep. When
Okay.
now that 4 hours may be spread out. It may be 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. But when I log 4 hours on it, and I try to jot my times down so I can kind of keep track of how much time I've got invested in one. But if I don't, I've done enough now that if I don't see something, some spark of life somewhere in the first hour, I'll stop. But if I see sparks of life and I'm not getting anywhere, if after I log about 4 hours, I kind of send it on its way because I've got to make money with it.
Exactly. We are not playing around, right?
Nope.
We need to pay the bills.
I tell people, I don't run a charity. I'm an electronics brain surgeon. I've got to get the next one done.
And talking about the business, you started with your own store. Do you still have your own store plus a franchise, or like both are like franchise?
They're franchise. You can't with a franchise. They won't let you have your store and the franchise.
Makes sense.
Either you're all in or you're all out.
Yeah, yeah. So you have like 2 stores of cell phone repair,
Yes.
mostly known as CPR, right?
Yep.
Okay. And for me, it's kind of like weird. Sorry, we are not like so used like to franchise of mobile phones down here in Brazil. We have some, but people with knowledge of microsoldering prefer to do it like by themselves. Mostly, I'm not saying that we do not have like franchise at all, but people mostly prefer to do it like in a home office or like I have my own store and like it's my own name or whatever. And I do work of microsoldering. Why do you choose like a franchise over like your own store? Like what's the benefit of it?
Well, what I did, like I said, I wanted to have when I started in my home office, from day one, I did all repair, not just soldering. I did screens, charging ports, soldering, whatever it needed. I did my best to bring it back. And over the years, I've continued to do that. Like I said, back then, we didn't have anybody to teach us how to do micro soldering. It was something we taught ourselves. But in order to pay the bills, I couldn't just do micro soldering. I had to do all of it. Now there's enough tools out there that will allow you.
Share your lab.
There's enough tools now that you can get by with doing just soldering. Like I said, 10 years ago, we didn't have ZXW. We didn't have, my first set of schematics, I paid $300 for them. Now you can get them for free.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
tools. I remember the days that people say, "Oh, never ask for a schematic. You have to pay for that." Yeah. Today, you just go to Google and all the schematics are there. Mostly, all the schematics are there.
Yeah. Then it wasn't like that. At one time I had 3-ring binders that had printed and laminated schematics for every iPhone and every iPad up till about 2005 or 6, and then I had them all electronic then, and I shredded the other ones.
Well, and like about the equipment, you told me microsoldering iPhone 7, but in general, like, what's the model that like you work most? Which model do you work most?
We see a lot of X's right now.
X's?
Yeah, with layer issues.
Which shoes?
The iPhone X. We see a lot of them with layer issues. You have to separate
the touch stop working.
Yeah, it's no touch or things like that where we have to open the layer, fix the pads, torn pads, and put it back together.
And how about charging shoes in iPhone X? Do you get most?
Yeah, they're not. Surprisingly, they're not as common as some of the older ones because I'm not sure why. I think it has a lot to do with the larger size of the Hydra IC and the wireless IC and the Tigris. It's kind of spread out among those 3 ICs versus 2 on the other models. So they're a little bit more robust. And each model is going to be a little different. I mean, it's, the 8, we see a lot of Tigris issues. We don't charge and have a short, it's Tigris.
And how about like other brands? Do you work with other brands, right?
Everything.
Everything?
If it's electronic, I'll work on it.
Okay, okay. And how about your competitor? I heard like that you break and fix is also like huge in the USA. What do you think about them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not around here. I researched both of them before I switched to a franchise, and I chose CPR for a reason, because they're more broad. They're more broad. Like U-Break, they had a lower percentage rate for profit, and a lot of owners aren't happy because they don't make good money.
Okay.
Because their prices are kind of set.
That's a big no, right? That's a big no, right?
Yeah, and I think they're in the process of changing it. But at one time you couldn't even sell used devices.
Whoa.
And we sell $10,000 a month just in used devices. So, I wanted to have that opportunity. I didn't want to say I can't sell you a used phone. You got to go get a new one. All I can do is fix your phone.
So beyond repairs, you sell used phones.
Yes.
Okay. Is it a good like share of the business?
It's 25%.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. I was talking with another friend that was actually launching an online course of like how to import like mobile phones, iPhone from the US.
Yeah.
And like he is doing like a lot of money, like buying phones, used phones from the US, okay, and selling here like to the Brazilian market. And yeah, actually used phones like market.
Yeah.
And he's doing really well. He's doing
Yeah.
really well.
If done correctly, and you don't buy up a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
You buy things that you can sell.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tell everybody,
the business, you have to study the business.
Yeah, you have to be fair, but you have to buy low and sell high. That's the only way to make money selling a phone.
Oh, and so used phone is a good business.
It is.
I think who is out of that, like, actually, I'm not working with that, but I'm really thinking about going to that because, you can repair sometimes, like people after you give the price, they don't want to repair. Maybe you can buy like the broken phone, like repair it and sell as a used one.
That's what I do. I tell people, we had somebody come in here a couple weeks ago. They had a 7 Plus that needed a battery and TriStar. They didn't want to spend the money. So they bought an 8 Plus for me. I gave them $50 trade-in value on their 7 Plus. I spent the $12 in parts and fixed it and turned and sold it for $250.
Whoa. That's the business.
Yes. Buy low, sell high.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I have like a kind of piece of shit mindset in my head, like a old time ago. Now I'm changing, not old time ago, but anyways, that I was thinking that if I offer like to buy like the broken device of a customer, I was trying to rip off the customer.
No.
Actually, that doesn't make sense. You just kind of like he kindly offer. Oh, do you want to sell? If you think like the price to repair like is expensive, like is it okay for you like to sell me your device?
Yeah.
And actually, I bought like 2 devices this week, like doing that. And now,
yeah.
I'm totally done.
No, I bought a S10 with a cracked screen like late last week. I think we gave $70 for it. And they didn't want to spend the $300 to put a screen on it, $350 to put a screen on it. They was going to go get them another phone, so I just gave them $70 for theirs, and I'll put a screen on it myself and sell it for $600.
Wow.
Very rarely will I let one leave, even if I'm going to buy it just to part it out. I've got hundreds and hundreds of every model phone, iPhone, Samsungs. I've got drawers and drawers and drawers of logic boards and parts phones, and it's like a cell phone salvage yard. They're everywhere, hundreds and hundreds, thousands of them.
Yeah. And with this growth, do you think to open your third store?
Yes.
Wow. You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there.
I want to have
Absolutely.
5.
Five.
Yep.
5 is your goal.
Yep.
Okay. Like you want to be like the, how can I say, the boss of your estate.
Yep. I'll go around to each one, check on them, and go home.
Yeah, yeah. And how about the storm? All of a sudden it started and like it's impacting the economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you say the storm?
Yeah, I saw on YouTube after you told me. I was not like reading the news and watching the news, and after you told me, I went to YouTube and oh my god,
Yeah,
like
it's
maybe
everywhere.
the roads are blocked and things like that.
Yeah, it won't be long. I'm gonna have to wrap this up because we still got to drive home in it. So
Yeah,
it's freezing rain, getting more ice right now. So
exactly. So like talking about that, do you have like anything like to say? Like we are closing to the end, and I don't want like to hold you since we have like this big snowstorm. Okay, so like what would be like your last things that you wish to say and like share and whatever?
well, I always tell people, don't think you're gonna learn it in one day. Find something. Set it. When you start one on say tomorrow, set a goal that you want to be able to improve removing an FPC, for example, and find something new each day to challenge yourself. Never stop learning. Don't get content. I even now I find something every day that I may struggle with, whether it be reballing a CPU or and I'll do it just for the heck of it. I'll take an hour a day just to play and challenge myself to get better, to find better ways to do reballing, holding a stencil, or just different techniques. I'll hone my techniques a little bit every single day, no matter how long I've been doing it. Never stop doing that.
At least 1 hour like a day.
At least
Right?
1 hour a day. I mean, it's you got
the same. It's the same to take care of the business. At least take like separate 1 hour like to take care of the business, the administration, the marketing, whatever.
your knowledge is your baby.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let your baby go without eating.
Yeah.
So you have to feed it, or it doesn't grow.
That's 100% true, my friend. And my last question. Let me think about my last question to you. If people that are watching us want to make the last questions to Loren, like feel free also.
Yeah.
But let me also think about like a good question to make like at the end. I asked it about like to keep practice. What do you do? So to update yourself. So you never stop. Basically, you train every day.
Every day.
Um, and how about like for the people who are like starting right now? Thinking about Loren when he started. What do you think is the biggest advice?
If you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah. If you could like go back to 2010 and like talk to Loren, like maybe like the mistakes that you have been through or whatever, what would be like the main thing that you could, Loren, pay attention. That's the main thing.
don't buy cheap equipment.
Good one. Good one.
I wasted so much money buying $80 pieces of crap.
Yeah.
And I finally
since we are developing country, like some people here like say that, oh, you can start with basic ones. Of course, like you can start with what you have, but please do not promote like cheap equipment, right?
Yeah. I tell everybody this, you don't have, you can get good used equipment for what you can buy new cheap ass equipment for.
Exactly.
You don't have to have the newest out there. You can get a couple 2 or 3 years old, but still good name brand equipment. Exactly. You don't have to buy some cheap knockoff and spend $100 on it when you can buy one that's 3 years old. It still works for $100. It's good name brand, because all of your temperatures, everything will be more consistent, and it will only help you in the end.
Yeah, that's true. So, Loren, it's an honor have you here. You know,
Thank you.
speaking like to our community of Brazilian. Okay, we have like a last question.
Okay.
Rafael asked, how about Apple being a competitor? Because in the USA they also fix phone.
Apple who?
How about Apple being a competitor?
Apple
Because in the
who?
USA
Apple who? They're not a competitor.
they are not a competitor.
No.
They just replace phones, right?
Yeah.
Under warranty, right?
Yeah. They sell you an expensive phone. They don't fix it. They're not my competitor. I fix things and keep them out of landfills.
Okay, but actually down here in Brazil, like they do some kind of fixes, like replace battery and replace screen.
That's it.
They,
That's it. Anybody can do that. There's people doing that.
no, but in the United States, is it the same? They do that
Yeah.
at least that they do.
That's all they do.
Yeah, that's how they do. Yeah,
So make yourself better. Offer better services.
exactly.
Just because it doesn't charge, just because the microphone doesn't work, Apple will sell you a whole nother one because the microphone don't work.
Yeah, he thought like they fixed it.
No, they don't.
Apple who?
Batteries. Yeah.
Apple who?
Apple who? Batteries and screens. That's it.
Battery and screens. Yeah, but actually, but batteries and screens are like are a good business also.
It is.
Right?
But if you go in,
I'm gonna focus more on that too. Like microsoldering, usage phones, like battery and screens. I think like if you can like kind of like balance all of them, you are good to go in the business.
and also one parting thought: if somebody wanting to learn how to do soldering or do diagnostics or read schematics, don't overthink it. Don't stress over it. If you start stressing over it and overthinking it, you're making it harder on yourself. Break it down into small bites. Don't try to look at the big picture all at once. Bring it down a little bit so you can, one bite at a time instead of cramming your mouth full and overwhelming yourself.
Okay. And out of this knowledge that you told now, this answer, like I have another question. Like, what's the best way, like, to understand the schematic? Like doing diode mode readings?
Yes, best way I would.
Do you print the page and write down in the page like, oh, this IC is like 500, like 450, this pin, pad 1, open line, whatever?
Well, the best way to start learning how to read some schematics is find a connector and find that connector in the schematics and go one pin at a time and trace that and follow that pin back until you're getting matched readings. It's kind of hard to explain, but you go one pin at a time. Instead of trying to read the whole connector and trying to find it or trying to find an IC, you may have to start somewhere else and work your way back to it. Okay. One pin, one leg at a time.
Yeah. Actually, I love the idea that you buy an equipment. Is it a new one for you to study, or do you buy like a used one? Like let's say like a customer like come to you with like I don't know, maybe a MacBook like 2019 that's out of warranty and it doesn't turn on, okay? Yeah. And maybe you just have the schematics and the board view, but you do not have like the readings, okay? What would you do?
On those,
yeah, like you can follow, of course you can follow the schematic, of course you can follow the board layout, but at some points,
yep,
maybe you need the readings, right?
Yeah, I try to have at least one known good board.
Do you call Luis?
Hey, if I need to, I'll phone a friend. I'll say, hey, do you have a 2019 MacBook reading? Do you have dial mode readings for this area? Now we live in an era that we weren't in 10 years ago. You couldn't call somebody and say, hey, do you have this?
And is people in United States like friendly to give information to you like that? Because here in Brazil, we have like a kind of like a poor mindset that if someone is asking you like some information and like you give like the readings or a small explanation about something, for some people looks like, oh, I'm giving like my baby, okay, to them, and I do not think it's like 100% like that, to be honest.
Yeah. In the U.S., it's very microsoldering. Everybody that's doing it is very close.
Yeah, here in Brazil, like people are like so close, you know. Like it's
I
kind of
can call.
I have my group. I just talk with my group.
Yeah, I can call anybody that's doing soldering and say, hey, or I can shoot them a message or call them, and any one of them will say, hey, I've got those readings. Here they are. They don't care. They're glad to give it to it because what I'm doing is not hurting them.
Yeah,
There's enough to go around, but I'm going to have to get before I get trapped in the snow.
yeah. I'm also afraid about that. So, Loren, it's a really pleasure to have you here. You know, I
You.
follow you like for over like I think 5 or 6 years. You know, and like back then I was looking, oh, how this guy like got into this business. I didn't know it was like by yourself. You know, congratulations.
Thank you.
Seriously, it's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. I had somebody the other day told me I was the grandfather of microsoldering because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, exactly. The grandfather.
Grandfather of microsoldering.
You're right. You're right. Okay, pleasure to have you here. Okay,
Thank you.
have a good night. Okay, and be safe to your home.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.